Toyota Tundra Bassmaster Angler of the Year award is the most prestigious in all of sport fishing. It's awarded to the top angler in the Bassmaster Elite Series, and the men who have won it include many of the legends of our sport. The first Angler of the Year award was presented to Bill Dance in 1970. Dance was the first bass fishing superstar, winning 7 of the first 19 events in bass history. Roland Martin began his Angler of the Year reign in 1971 with the first of 9 titles. He also won in 1972 and 1973, establishing a level of dominance in the sport that has never been duplicated and likely never will. In those 3 years, Martin won 6 of the 17 tournaments, finished second 5 times, and in the top 5 16 times, and these were events that frequently had more than 200 competitors. His worst finish during that 3-year stretch was 8th place. In 1974, Bill Dance won his second of 3 Angler of the Year awards. Though he hadn't won a tournament that year, he finished in the top 6 in 4 of the 6 events and in the top 20 in all of them. Roland Martin took top honors again in 1975, the 4th time around for the legendary Great American Fisherman. He capped the season off with a win at the Santee Cooper Reservoirs, where he once worked as a fishing guide. Jimmy Houston was the first to break through the hold that Martin and Dance had on the Angler of the Year award. Houston caught, and probably kissed, a lot of bass in 1976. A year later, Bill Dance won his 3rd and final Angler of the Year title. He retired from competitive fishing after the 1980 season, but he's still one of the most visible and loved fishermen in the world through his popular television show. Only 2 anglers have won the Angler of the Year award in back-to-back seasons, but Roland Martin did it 3 different times. He took home the trophy that would later bear his name in both 1978 and 1979. Back then, the Angler of the Year title didn't offer the big payday it has now. For years, the winner took home nothing more than a trophy or maybe a check for $1,000. In 1980, when Larry Nixon won the first of his 2 Angler of the Year titles, the top prize money was up to $2,500, but the award was definitely more about the prestige than the money. To absolutely no one's surprise, Roland Martin was back to take the title in 1981. That made 7 Angler of the Year awards for Martin. He was clearly the best in the business at this time, winning 3 consecutive bass tournaments at one point. In 1982, Nixon was on top again. 10 years later, he would become the first angler to surpass the $1 million mark in bass tournament winnings. Today, there are more than 30 members of the Bass Millionaires Club, most of them joining the group in the past 5 years. Hank Parker very nearly took the trophy in 1982, and in 1983 he sealed the deal, becoming the first angler to win that honor and also have won a Bassmaster Classic championship. In 1984 and 1985, Roland Martin won back-to-back Angler of the Year awards for the 3rd time. They were his 8th and 9th titles, and marked the last times he would take the honor. At 45 years of age in 1985, Martin is the oldest angler ever to win the title. The average Angler of the Year is about 35 years old, but they've ranged from as young as 24 to as old as 45. 10 years after winning his first title, Jimmy Houston was back, marking the longest stretch between awards for any multiple Angler of the Year winner. We don't know just which fish put him over the top, but Jimmy seems to be thanking this one. After finishing as the runner-up to Houston in 1986, Denny Brauer got his trophy in 1987, and 11 years later, Brauer added a Classic championship to his list of achievements. The legendary Rick Clunn, winner of 4 Bassmaster Classics, won his only Angler of the Year title in 1988. Clunn has finished in the top 25 of the Angler of the Year standings in 29 seasons. The following year, Gary Klein won the first of his 2 Angler of the Year awards. 10 years earlier, as a 21-year-old rookie, Klein was narrowly edged out of the title by Roland Martin. After a second-place finish in the Angler of the Year race in 1988, Missouri's Guido Hibden won the title in 1990, then went back-to-back with another win in 1991. Hibden won the first bass event he ever fished and finished in the top 5 of the Angler of the Year standings 6 different times. In 1992, at the age of just 24, Kevin Van Dam became the youngest person ever to win the Bassmaster Angler of the Year award. 17 years later, he's still on top of his game. Gary Klein earned his second Angler of the Year title in 1993. He's now finished in the top 25 of the Angler of the Year race 21 times. A year later, in 1994, crankbait guru David Fritz followed up his Bassmaster Classic victory with an Angler of the Year award. He won the season opener and never looked back. In 1995, Mark Davis put it all together, winning the Bassmaster Angler of the Year award and the Bassmaster Classic in the same season. No one did it before, and, at least so far, no one has been able to do it since. In 1996, Kevin Van Dam added to his legend with his second Angler of the Year title. At the time, he was not only the youngest champion in history, but the second youngest as well. Davey Height credited his lucky underwear when he won the Angler of the Year award in 1997. Instead of questions about top lures, Height was barraged with one question: boxers or briefs? A year later, Mark Davis won his second AOY title but failed to capture another classic. He was the first angler to win a Classic Angler of the Year, more than $1 million in bass prize money, and weigh in more than 100 pounds of bass in a tournament. Kevin Van Dam became just the third man to win 3 or more Angler of the Year awards, joining Roland Martin and Bill Dance in 1997. At just 31 years old, there was no doubt that Van Dam would challenge for more titles in the future. In 2000, Alabama's Tim Horton became the first rookie to win the Angler of the Year award. He also became the second youngest winner in history. Mark Davis joined Kevin Van Dam and Bill Dance as the only 3-time Anglers of the Year in 2001. Davey Height was back on top in 2002. Hopefully he wasn't wearing the same underwear he used in '97. For luck, he might have been relying on a few of Kevin Van Dam's chocolate chip cookies this time. In 2003, Jay Yellis followed his Classic championship of the previous year with an Angler of the Year title. Gerald Swindle has never won a bass event, but he was the 2004 Angler of the Year, making him the only AOY without at least 2 tournament wins on his resume. Aaron Martens had already established himself as a bass fishing star when he won the 2005 Angler of the Year award. He was runner-up in the Classic that year too, for the 3rd time in 4 years. Michael Iaconelli took Angler of the Year honors in the inaugural Elite Series season. 11 tournaments stretched across 3 seasons created the truest test of the best in bass history. Skeet Reese finished in the top 10 of the AOY race 4 consecutive times before winning in 2007. Now he has a chance to join Mark Davis and win the Classic and AOY in the same year. And in 2008, Kevin Van Dam won his 4th Angler of the Year award. He's looking for number 5 this year and could become the first angler to go back-to-back since Guido Hibdon. 39 years, 39 awards, and 19 talented champions that have made the Toyota Tundra Bassmaster Angler of the Year award the most sought-after and revered title in all of sport fishing.